Every 40 seconds, an American suffers a heart attack. 40 seconds, the time it takes to check a text, to pour a cup of coffee, to tie your shoes. And sometimes the cause isn't the cholesterol number you've been told to fear. It's another fat, quieter, more deceptive. A fat that slips under the radar until it's too late. Its name, triglycerides. Now imagine your blood not as the smooth, free-flowing river it's meant to be, but as thick, sticky syrup. Syrup that clogs every lane of your arterial highway. Cars pile up, honking, unable to move. Oxygen, the fuel your heart and brain depend on, stuck in a traffic jam with no exit. That's what high triglycerides do inside your body. After 60, this danger only grows. Why? Because the body's metabolism slows, insulin resistance creeps in, and the liver begins to store more and more fat. Triglycerides rise silently without a flashing red light or a painful warning. No sirens, no alarms, just syrup slowly filling the roads. And then one morning, a surge of blood pressure, a spike in hormones, and suddenly gridlock. The heart stops. Here's the cruel truth. Many seniors believe as long as their cholesterol is under control, they're safe. But that's like watching the weather for rain while ignoring the flood that's already rising in your basement. Triglycerides are that hidden flood, and floods don't wait. You may feel fine today. You may walk the dog home. You get the dog. Mow the lawn, laugh with your grandchildren. But if your triglycerides are high, each one of those moments could be a borrowed gift. Because inside, your arteries are narrowing, stiffening, suffocating under syrup that should have never been there. And here's the haunting question. How would you know? You can't feel triglycerides, you can't hear them, you can't see them. They don't knock on the door like chest pain or shortness of breath. They wait in silence until the highway collapses. But what if I told you there is hope? That there is one food, cheap, easy to find, already sitting on the shelves of your local grocery store, that science has proven can dramatically lower triglycerides, protect your arteries, and give your heart a fighting chance. Stay with me, because in just a few minutes, I'll reveal what that food is and how you can begin using it tonight to keep your heart beating strong tomorrow. High triglycerides don't just sit quietly in your blood, they sabotage your organs one by one. They sneak into your liver, coating it with fat until that vital organ can no longer filter and balance as it should. They push your body toward insulin resistance, forcing your pancreas to work overtime until it collapses. And worst of all, they set the perfect stage for a heart attack, most often in the early hours of the morning when your body is supposed to be at rest. Picture this. It's 5:30 a.m. The world is still dark. You're lying in bed, dreaming of breakfast with your family. But inside, your arteries are not resting. They're under siege. Hormones surge at dawn, blood pressure spikes, and triglycerides act like dynamite hidden in the walls. One sudden crack, and everything changes. Let me tell you about George. George was 67. He played with his grandchildren every weekend, walked his dog each morning, and never missed Sunday service. His doctor said his numbers looked okay. His cholesterol wasn't terrible. He felt strong, even proud of how young he seemed for his age. But one night, George didn't wake up. His wife found him cold, silent, gone. The report said sudden cardiac arrest. The hidden culprit? Triglycerides. The time bomb had gone off. And George is not alone. Every day, thousands of men and women who look healthy become victims of this silent fat. They never see it coming. They don't feel the syrup thickening, the arteries narrowing, the fuse burning shorter and shorter. They live with a smile on their face, not knowing the countdown has already begun. That's what triglycerides are, a time bomb ticking in your arteries. And after 60, the clock ticks louder, faster. The question is not if it will go off, but when, unless you change something, unless you diffuse it. Right now, you may be wondering, what can I do to stop this? What can I eat? What can I change to keep that bomb from exploding in my chest? In just a moment, I'll show you exactly what food can help disarm it before it's too late. So how do we stop this hidden enemy? How do we silence the ticking bomb of triglycerides before it goes off? The answer isn't hidden in a pill bottle or a miracle drug. It comes from something older than modern medicine, something cultivated for thousands of years high in the Andes, something so humble you can find it in the grain aisle of your grocery store. Its name is quinoa. Now, you might have heard of quinoa. Some call it a super grain. But here's the truth. Quinoa isn't even a true grain. It's a pseudo-cereal, a seed dressed in grains clothing. And this tiny seed carries a power that science has finally begun to measure. A power to calm the storm inside your arteries, to thin that syrupy blood, and to give your heart the breathing room it desperately needs. Let's look at why. When you eat quinoa, you're not just filling your stomach, you're feeding an entire ecosystem inside you. Your gut microbiome. Quinoa is rich in fiber. That fiber doesn't just pass through, it ferments into short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, that whisper instructions to your liver and bloodstream. Slow down the sugar, cut back the triglycerides, lower the pressure. These SCFAs are like peacekeepers, easing tension in the highways of your arteries. But quinoa doesn't stop there. It's loaded with polyphenols and antioxidants, natural compounds that work like firefighters inside your cells. Every second, your mitochondria, those tiny power plants, produce energy. And just like a car engine, they release exhaust fumes, free radicals, oxidative stress. Left unchecked, those fumes corrode your arteries, stiffen your vessels, and light the fuse of heart disease. Quinoa's antioxidants step in with hoses, extinguishing the sparks before they ignite into flames of inflammation. And here's the part that should make you lean forward in your chair. A clinical study, randomized, placebo-controlled, looked at the effect of quinoa on triglycerides. The participants weren't models of health. They were people with metabolic problems already at risk. They added quinoa, just 50 grams a week, barely more than a scoop, to their diets. And what happened? Their triglycerides dropped. Not a little, dramatically. From an average of 101 milligrams per deciliter to just 64. Let me repeat that. 50 grams a week and triglycerides fell by more than a third. Show me a pill that can do that without side effects. Think about that. While some foods sneak sugar into your bloodstream, while some drinks strain your pancreas, quinoa does the opposite. It steadies, it cools, it clears. It's not loud or flashy, it's steady, consistent, dependable. And the best part? This isn't exotic anymore. You don't need to climb mountains in Peru to find it. You can pick up a bag of quinoa at Walmart, at your local supermarket, even at the corner store. It cooks in 15 minutes. It blends into salads, soups, breakfast bowls. It tastes nutty, comforting, familiar. So imagine this. Instead of filling your arteries with syrup, instead of fueling the bomb that waits to go off, you sit down tonight to a bowl that actively diffuses it. Quinoa isn't just food, it's medicine disguised as a meal. And in the battle against triglycerides, it may be the simplest, most powerful ally you can put on your plate. Inflammation is the silent gasoline of heart disease. You can't see it, you can't feel it, but it's there. Smoldering, simmering, waiting for a spark. When your triglycerides run high, they don't just thicken your blood, they irritate the delicate lining of your arteries. Imagine the smooth inner walls of your blood vessels as polished marble. Over time, with constant exposure to sugary blood, excess fat, and oxidative stress, that marble begins to crack. Tiny fissures appear, and into those cracks flow triglycerides, cholesterol, and toxins. The body senses the injury and does what it's designed to do. It inflames. White blood cells rush in like firefighters, but instead of putting out the flames, they keep pouring on fuel. This is how vasculitis, arterial inflammation begins. It's like a wildfire running along the highways of your circulatory system. Each flare-up makes your arteries less flexible, more scarred, more prone to rupture. And when an inflamed plaque breaks loose, it can block blood flow in an instant. That's the heart attack. Now here's where quinoa enters the story. Quinoa is not just another grain substitute, it's a fire extinguisher for your blood vessels. Packed with bioactive compounds, flavonoids, and antioxidants, it works at the microscopic level to cool the flames that triglycerides ignite. Think of those compounds as a team of firefighters walking calmly into a burning building, hoses in hand, foam ready, neutralizing every ember before it spreads. Let's make it real. Imagine two different breakfasts. On one plate, white toast, butter, and sausage. Within minutes, triglycerides spike, insulin surges, and oxidative sparks fly, irritating your arteries. The inflammation response begins before you even put down your fork. On the second plate, a bowl of warm quinoa porridge, topped with blueberries and walnuts. Instead of igniting, your blood vessels relax. The fiber slows sugar absorption. The polyphenols from quinoa and berries sweep up free radicals. The omega-3s from walnuts reinforce your cell membranes. The result? Your body feels nourished, not inflamed. Your arterial walls are soothed, not scorched. Science backs this up. Studies show quinoa consumption leads to reduced levels of C-reactive protein, one of the body's key markers of inflammation. Lower CRP means the fire in your arteries is being cooled. Another study demonstrated how quinoa's unique mix of saponins and phenolic compounds directly modulates inflammatory pathways, shutting off the alarms that keep immune cells on constant red alert. And here's the most powerful part. You don't need buckets of quinoa to see the effect. Even modest servings can tilt the balance from inflammation to healing. Over time, with consistency, quinoa creates an environment in your intestine that resists fire rather than fuels it. It's as though you've lined your arterial highways with flame retardant coating. Fires may try to start, but they fizzle out quickly. For seniors, this is not just biochemistry. It's the difference between waking up energized or exhausted, between climbing stairs with ease or gasping for air, between living in fear of the next heart attack and living with confidence that you're protected. So the next time you think about inflammation, don't just imagine pills and prescriptions. Picture that fire inside you. And picture quinoa, the humble seed, walking in like a quiet hero with a fire extinguisher, silencing the flames before they take everything from you. When most people hear the word nutrition, they think of a long list of supplements, protein powders, multivitamins, calcium pills, magnesium capsules, a drawer full of bottles, each promising to fill a gap. But what if, instead of juggling dozens of pills, you could scoop one food onto your plate and let it deliver nearly everything your body craves? That food is quinoa. Quinoa isn't just a trendy health grain. It's what I like to call complete nutrition in a seed. Imagine walking into a pharmacy where every shelf is stocked with a different nutrient. Protein on one side, vitamins B and C down another aisle, minerals like magnesium, iron, and zinc on the next. Now imagine instead of shopping aisle by aisle, you're handed one small bag that contains them all. That's quinoa. It's nature's one-stop shop for nourishment. Let's start with protein. Many seniors worry about muscle loss after 60. Sarcopenia, the gradual weakening of muscles, makes every task harder, from climbing stairs to carrying groceries. Most grains give you incomplete protein, missing essential amino acids. Quinoa is different. It's one of the few plant foods with all 9 essential amino acids in balance. It's like hiring a full construction crew instead of leaving out the electricians or plumbers. With quinoa, your body has the full toolkit it needs to repair and rebuild. Now picture the B vitamins, tiny spark plugs for your metabolism. Thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, folate. These are what keep your energy engines running. Without them, your body feels sluggish, your mind foggy. Quinoa carries this entire team of spark plugs. It doesn't give you just the fuel, it gives you the ignition to use it. And for seniors who often struggle with low energy, this makes the difference between dragging through the day and living it fully. What about vitamin C? Everyone knows oranges, but quinoa has a surprise contribution here too. Vitamin C strengthens collagen, supports immunity, and shields your cells from oxidative stress, the very stress that damages arteries and leads to heart disease. It's the umbrella that keeps you dry in the storm of free radicals. And then there's vitamin E, the body's natural shield against aging. Vitamin E protects your cell membranes, keeps your skin supple, and most importantly, defends your cardiovascular system from oxidative damage. Imagine it as the protective wax on your car, keeping rust from eating away at the frame. Without it, your cells corrode. With quinoa, you're covered. The mineral lineup in quinoa is equally impressive. Calcium, strong bones, steady heartbeat. Magnesium, relaxes your blood vessels, reduces blood pressure, calms your nerves. Iron carries oxygen through your blood, keeping fatigue at bay. Zinc sharpens immunity and speeds healing. Copper balances your cardiovascular system. Potassium keeps fluid and pressure in check, all packed in one small seed. It's as if quinoa was designed as a survival kit for the human body. Now let me paint the picture. George, 71, tired of swallowing handfuls of supplements, replaced one meal a day with quinoa bowls. Quinoa with spinach, quinoa with roasted veggies, quinoa even with breakfast berries. Within weeks, he noticed fewer cramps, more steady energy, clearer focus. His doctor was surprised. Better hemoglobin, stronger bones, improved blood pressure, all from food, not pills. Quinoa proves a powerful truth. Nature has already designed complete nutrition. You don't need 20 bottles in your cabinet. You need one seed on your plate. And with every bite, you're giving your heart, your muscles, your bones, and your brain the fuel to keep you not just alive, but thriving. As we age, the list of health concerns seems to grow longer. Fatty liver, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure. They arrive like unwelcome guests at a dinner table, pulling up chairs one by one until there's no space left for comfort. But what if a single food could push those guests back out the door? What if a simple seed could reclaim the table for health, energy, and longevity? That food is quinoa. Let's start with fatty liver. Many seniors believe fatty liver only happens to people who drink too much alcohol. Not true. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, driven by high triglycerides and poor diet, is rampant in adults over 60. Imagine your liver as the body's main factory, filtering toxins and managing fuel. When it gets clogged with fat, it's like a factory floor piled with garbage. Machines can't run, workers can't move. Quinoa helps clear the floor. Its fiber reduces fat buildup, while its antioxidants sweep away the oxidative stress that worsens liver scarring. Over time, the factory begins to hum again. Now diabetes. Every year, millions of older Americans either develop type 2 diabetes or struggle to manage it. The pancreas, already weary, struggles to keep up with sugar surges after meals. This is where quinoa's slow-release carbohydrates and fiber step in. Unlike white rice or bread, which act like firecrackers in your bloodstream, quinoa digests slowly, releasing glucose like a steady candle. That means fewer blood sugar spikes, less insulin demand, and less exhaustion for your pancreas. For seniors living with diabetes, that's not just theory, it's survival. It's the difference between wild roller coaster glucose levels and a calm, steady ride. And then there's blood pressure, the silent killer. High blood pressure tightens the grip around your arteries, forcing your heart to work harder, straining the very pump that keeps you alive. Quinoa is rich in magnesium and potassium, two minerals that act like natural relaxants. Magnesium helps smooth muscle in the blood vessel walls to relax, while potassium helps flush excess sodium, lowering pressure. Think of it as loosening a tight fist around your arteries, letting blood flow freely once more. Consider the story of Helen, 72. She had been told she was borderline everything: borderline diabetic, borderline hypertensive, borderline fatty liver. Her kitchen counter was crowded with bottles, blood pressure pills, metformin, supplements she barely remembered to take. At her granddaughter's urging, she started swapping white rice with quinoa 3 times a week. 6 months later, her doctor was astonished. Her liver enzymes improved, her A1C dropped, her blood pressure came down. She didn't just change her meals, she changed her future. Quinoa doesn't promise overnight miracles, but it offers a steady, dependable ally against the diseases of aging. Each serving helps your liver filter better, your blood sugar stay stable, your blood vessels relax. It's food as prevention, food as medicine, food as hope. For seniors, that means more mornings with energy, more evenings without worry, and more years of life lived not in the shadow of disease, but in the light of vitality. Quinoa may be small, but for aging hearts, livers, and arteries, it is mighty. For years, we've been told stories about food that sound comforting, but are dangerously misleading. A glass of red wine a day is good for your heart. Fish is always the healthiest protein. White meat is lean, so it must be safe. They're catchy headlines, easy to repeat at dinner parties, but they hide a truth that science has been shouting for years. Not all foods that look healthy on the surface are kind to your insulin, your triglycerides, or your heart. Let's begin with wine. Picture the scene. A couple in their 60s, clinking glasses of red wine, smiling because they believe they're doing something good for their hearts. That belief comes from studies that mention polyphenols like resveratrol. Yes, these compounds are beneficial. But here's the twist. It's not the alcohol delivering them. In fact, alcohol in wine is like a thief breaking into the party. Instead of helping, it forces your pancreas to squeeze out extra insulin, stressing an organ that's already aging and vulnerable. Studies show that wine without alcohol, essentially grape juice or non-alcoholic red wine, can lower insulin response after meals. But add alcohol back in and triglycerides shoot up like fireworks. The very thing you thought was protecting your heart may actually be straining it, priming you for diabetes and hypertension. Now let's talk about fish. We all know fish is rich in omega-3s, and yes, those fatty acids are powerful allies. But here's the nuance. Not all fish, not all preparation, and not all bodies respond the same way. Some studies reveal that certain fish, when consumed in high amounts or alongside refined carbs, can cause post-meal insulin spikes. For a pancreas already tired from years of service, that's like asking a 70-year-old factory worker to run double shifts. The omega-3s may be fighting inflammation, but the insulin surge is stoking another fire at the same time. It's a paradox many seniors never hear about. And what about white meat? For decades, it's been sold as the safe alternative to red meat. Lean, light, less fatty. But lean doesn't always mean gentle. White meat, especially when consumed without enough fiber or paired with starches, can still trigger high insulin demand. Think of insulin as a delivery truck. Each time you eat, trucks roll out to move nutrients into cells. With white meat, the traffic jam is smaller than with bacon or steak, but the trucks still have to floor the gas pedal to get the job done. Over time, those trucks burn out, and your body's delivery system collapses. Now contrast all of this with quinoa. Quinoa doesn't bully your pancreas. It doesn't demand sudden bursts of insulin. Instead, it delivers nutrients with patience, like a well-organized postal service, delivering mail steadily throughout the day. Its fiber slows glucose release, preventing spikes. Its antioxidants and polyphenols cool inflammation rather than provoke it. Where wine with alcohol pressures your insulin, quinoa relieves it. Where fish and white meat can sometimes trigger spikes, quinoa steadies the rhythm. This isn't to say you can never enjoy a glass of wine or a piece of fish, but the point is clear. The foods we've been told are safe can sometimes betray us. Quinoa, on the other hand, stands out not for hype, but for consistency. It doesn't make headlines because it's glamorous. It earns respect because it works. Quietly, reliably, meal after meal, protecting your heart rather than testing it. And for those of us over 60, that quiet reliability may be the difference between health preserved and health lost. So far, we've talked about why quinoa works inside your body, but how do you actually bring it to your table? Knowledge without practice is like medicine left in the bottle. Let's walk step by step into the kitchen and see how this tiny seed can become your daily ally. First, let's meet the family of quinoa. There isn't just one kind, there are 3 main varieties, each with its own character. Red quinoa, nutty, bold, with a texture that holds up well in salads. Think of it as the confident older sibling, always dependable. Yellow or golden quinoa, the most common, shift and fluffy after cooking. The gentle one that adapts to almost any dish. And black quinoa, rare, slightly sweeter with a crunchier bite, the adventurous cousin who brings color and spark to your plate. You don't have to choose one forever. Mix them, rotate them, let your meals be as colorful as your life. Now, how do you cook it? Don't be intimidated. Cooking quinoa is as simple as boiling rice, but easier. The ratio is 1 part quinoa to 2 parts water. Place them together in a pot, bring to a boil, then reduce the heat and let it simmer for about 15 minutes. As it cooks, you'll see the little seed open up, releasing a spiral tail. That's the sign it's ready, tender yet slightly chewy, perfect to carry flavors. Let it rest for a few minutes with the lid on, then fluff it with a fork. In less than 20 minutes, you have a heart-saving base ready to go. But the real magic is what you build on top of it. Let me paint the picture of a heart-safe plate. Start with a warm mound of quinoa at the center. Surround it with a generous portion of dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, or arugula, lightly steamed or tossed raw for crunch. Add a handful of walnuts, rich in omega-3s, their earthy flavor pairing beautifully with quinoa's nuttiness. Drizzle it all with extra virgin olive oil, that golden liquid known for calming inflammation and protecting arteries. For brightness, squeeze a wedge of lemon across the top, letting the citrus cut through and lift the flavors. What you've just built isn't just dinner, it's armor. Each ingredient plays a role. Quinoa lowering triglycerides, greens flooding your body with antioxidants, walnuts strengthening your vessels, olive oil lubricating your arteries like oil in an engine. Together they form a plate designed to guard your heart, not challenge it. And here's the best part. This heart-safe plate is endlessly flexible. Swap walnuts for almonds or pumpkin seeds. Add roasted peppers, onions, or tomatoes for more color. Sprinkle feta or goat cheese if you want a creamy note. Make it yours because food isn't just fuel, it's joy, culture, memory. Every time you scoop quinoa onto your plate, you're not just eating. You're casting a vote for more mornings, more birthdays, more stories told at the dinner table. Quinoa isn't fancy, it's not expensive, but it's practical, powerful, and perfectly suited to protect your heart after 60. Let's turn knowledge into action. Because information without practice is like a locked medicine cabinet. It looks useful, but it can't save you until you open the door. That's why I want to challenge you to try a simple 7-day protocol. Just 1 week, 7 days that could begin rewriting the story of your heart. Here's how it works. Each day for the next 7 days, I want you to add quinoa into your routine. Not as an experiment you'll forget tomorrow, but as a commitment to your future self. Day 1, start small. Replace half of your usual rice, bread, or pasta with quinoa. Let your body taste it, feel it, get used to its texture. Day 2, build your heart-safe plate. Quinoa is the base, leafy greens piled high, walnuts sprinkled on top, a drizzle of olive oil. Sit down and look at it, not just as food, but as protection. Day 3, add variety. Try quinoa for breakfast. A warm bowl with berries, a spoon of yogurt, maybe a drizzle of honey. Notice how steady your energy feels, how calm your stomach is compared to sugary cereal or toast. Day 4, double your fiber. Pair quinoa with beans or lentils for lunch. Think of it as fuel for your microbiome, the tiny army inside your gut that helps lower triglycerides. Day 5, share the table. Cook quinoa for your spouse, your children, or your grandchildren. Food is more powerful when it's shared, and when you invite others into your journey, you build accountability. Day 6, journal the changes. How are your energy levels? Are you less bloated, less tired after meals? Is your sleep deeper? Write it down. These little notes become proof that the shift is happening. Day 7, reflect and renew. End the week with gratitude. Thank your body for every beat it has given you. And ask yourself, if just 7 days of quinoa could make a difference, what could 7 weeks or 7 months do? Now here's why this protocol matters. Every time you choose quinoa, you're not just lowering triglycerides, you're rehearsing a new story. A story where your arteries are clear highways, not clogged intersections. A story where your mornings aren't haunted by fear of the next heart attack. but filled with confidence that you're doing your part to protect your heart. I know it sounds simple, almost too simple. One seed, 1 week. But great change rarely begins with grand gestures. It starts with small, steady steps repeated with faith. And to prove it, let me tell you about Helen. Helen was 72, a grandmother of 5, tired of the pill bottles crowding her nightstand. Her doctor said she was borderline everything, borderline diabetic, borderline hypertensive, borderline fatty liver. Her daughter begged her to try this 1 week challenge. So she did. 1 bowl of quinoa every day. By the end of that week, Helen felt lighter. By the end of the month, she was sleeping better, her ankles weren't swelling, and her energy was steadier. 6 months later, her blood work showed what she felt in her bones. Her triglycerides had dropped, her blood pressure eased, her doctor astonished. Helen didn't just eat a seed, she planted a new life. And if Helen could change her story with just 1 bowl a day, imagine what 7 days could begin for you. The greatest lesson I hope you carry from this journey is simple but powerful. Food is medicine. Not the kind of medicine that comes in plastic bottles with warning labels, but the kind that grows quietly from the earth, waiting for you to put it on your plate. For too long, we've been trained to believe healing comes only from pharmacies. Yet every bite you take has the power to either fuel disease or fight it. Quinoa is living proof that the right food can act like a prescription, but without the side effects. But just like any medicine, food must be used wisely. Quinoa may be a hero seed, but it's not a miracle that works the same way for everyone. Let's be clear about safety. If you have allergies, especially to seeds or grains, introduce quinoa cautiously. Listen to your body. Any reaction, even mild, is your body whispering that something is off. Don't ignore it. For those with kidney disease, moderation matters even more. Quinoa is rich in protein and certain minerals like potassium and phosphorus. While these are blessings for many, they can be burdens for kidneys already struggling. Think of your kidneys as water filters. If the filters are weak, pouring too much through can overwhelm them. That's why anyone with kidney concerns should talk to their doctor before making quinoa a daily staple. And then there's the matter of medications. If you're taking drugs to thin your blood, to manage diabetes, or to control blood pressure, quinoa's natural effects can sometimes overlap. That overlap isn't always bad. It may even allow lower doses over time, but it must be supervised. Never assume that because it's natural, it's harmless. Even the most beautiful sunrise can burn if you stare too long. Here's the guiding principle. Start low and go slow. Don't flood your diet with quinoa overnight. Begin with a small serving, half a cup cooked, then gradually increase as your body adapts. This gentle approach allows your digestion, your blood sugar, and your kidneys to adjust smoothly. It's like merging onto a busy highway. You don't slam the accelerator, you ease in, find your lane, and then cruise. And while we're on the subject of highways, picture this image. Your bloodstream as an endless interstate, clogged with debris, cholesterol particles, triglyceride clusters, inflammatory toxins. Traffic is at a standstill, horns blaring, oxygen deliveries delayed. Then enrolls quinoa, not as a police officer with flashing lights, but as a quiet team of sweepers. Broom by broom, they clear the lanes, lifting out the garbage, smoothing the asphalt, letting the cars flow freely again. That is what quinoa does for your arteries. It doesn't fight with force, it cleans with consistency. So remember this, food is medicine, but medicine is powerful. Respect it, introduce it carefully, allow your body to build trust with it, and let quinoa take its rightful place, not as a fad, not as hype, but as a faithful sweeper on the blood highway, keeping your arteries open, your heart strong, and your life moving forward. Let's bring it all together. The problem is clear. High triglycerides are not just numbers on a lab test. They are thick syrup in your blood, hormone, clogging your arterial highways, setting the stage for a heart attack. And after 60, that risk grows sharper, more urgent. The pain is real. Tragedy can strike at any time. George was strong at 67, yet a heart attack in the night ended his story without warning. That same hidden danger lives in the blood of countless seniors today. But there is a solution, and it's simpler than most people realize. Quinoa, this humble pseudo-cereal, is the best food to protect the heart after 60. Packed with fiber, antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals, it lowers triglycerides, soothes inflammation, and feeds your body without stressing your pancreas or arteries. Science proves it, and stories confirm it. Like Helen's story. At 72, she was tired of being borderline everything. Borderline diabetic, borderline hypertensive, borderline fatty liver. Her ankles swelled, her sleep was shallow, and she feared the worst. Then she made one small change. She replaced white rice with quinoa. One bowl a day. Within weeks, her triglycerides dropped, her sleep deepened, and the swelling in her legs eased. 6 months later, her doctor was amazed. Helen had rewritten her health story with food, not pills. Now it's your turn. If Helen could do it at 72, why not you? Comment "I'm in" below to join the 7-day challenge and begin your own journey toward a stronger heart. Subscribe today so you don't miss the next video. 7 night habits that weaken your heart. Food is medicine and quinoa is proof. The story of your heart isn't finished yet. Start writing a new chapter. One bowl, one day, one heartbeat at a time.